Shocking cheating wife story. Her secret affair sparked a Silicon Valley scandal. I caught my wife's silhouette in a hotel lobby, her hand on his arm, laughing like I was already a ghost. The worst part? My best friends were there, cheering her on, plotting to take everything I'd built. Welcome to my cheating wife story, a tale of betrayal that cuts deeper than you can imagine. If this hits you hard, smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to Viora for more stories that rip your heart open. My name is Nathan Harper, a 48-year-old tech mogul who turned a garage startup into a Silicon Valley empire. Think private jets, a waterfront mansion in San Francisco, and a watch collection that could buy a small country. That's me. But the real prize was my wife, Claire Harper. For 20 years, she was my partner, my spark, the woman who made every boardroom battle worth winning. Her smile could disarm a room, and her wit kept me grounded. We had no kids, but we had a life, weekends in Napa, galas in New York, and a tight-knit circle of friends who felt like family. Or so I thought. This cheating wife story starts with a crack in that perfect facade, one I was too busy to see. It began at a charity auction in Palo Alto, a glittering night of champagne and power players. I'd been in Asia closing a $500 million deal, so Claire went with our friends Mark, Sophie, and Derek, the crew we'd known since our Stanford days. I flew in late, expecting to surprise her. Instead, I found her in a corner, whispering with a man I vaguely recognized, Evan, a slick marketing exec from a rival firm. Her hand brushed his, her eyes lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months. I brushed it off as networking. I was wrong. That moment was the start of an infidelity story time I never wanted to star in. The next week, Claire's behavior shifted. She was late from book club, her phone always on silent, her laugh a little too forced. I noticed her new perfume, sharp, unfamiliar, not the one I'd bought her in Paris. Just trying something new, she said, avoiding my eyes. My gut churned, but I didn't push. I'd read enough Reddit cheating stories to know suspicion alone wasn't proof. Still, the doubt gnawed, a quiet intruder in our perfect life. Then came the text. At 3 a.m., Claire's phone buzzed on the nightstand. She was asleep, her hair fanned across the pillow, but I wasn't. I grabbed the phone, my heart pounding. The message was from E, just a heart emoji and miss you. No name, no context. I scrolled up, but the chat was clean, like she'd scrubbed it. My hands shook as I set the phone down. This wasn't just a true cheating story. This was my marriage unraveling, and I didn't even know the players. I didn't confront her. I'm Nathan Harper, I solve problems, not start them. Instead, I watched. Claire's girls' nights with Sophie became frequent, her work trips vague. She'd come home with stories that didn't add up, meetings with clients I knew were out of town, dinners with Mark and Derek when I'd seen them elsewhere. The lies were small but sharp, like paper cuts. I started tracking her phone's location, something I'd never done in 20 years. It showed her at a downtown hotel when she'd said she was at Sophie's. My chest tightened. This was a cheating wife caught moment, but I needed more than a dot on a map. The first twist came from Derek. We met for drinks at a rooftop bar, the city sparkling below. He was nervous, fidgeting with his whiskey glass. Nate, there's something you need to know, he said, his voice low. Claire's not herself. She's seeing someone. My blood ran cold. Who? I asked, my voice steady but my heart racing. Evan. From the auction. Mark and Sophie know, they've been covering for her. The words hit like a freight train. Not just Claire, but Mark and Sophie, my best friends since college, the ones who'd toasted our wedding, who'd called me family. This wasn't just a wife affair exposed. It was a betrayal by my entire world. I didn't explode. I thanked Derek, paid the tab, and left. Back home, I dug deeper. I hired a private investigator, a discreet woman named Rachel who specialized in corporate espionage. Follow Claire, I told her. And check Mark and Sophie too. I want everything. Rachel nodded, her eyes sharp. 2 weeks, she said. While she worked, I played the part, kissing Claire goodnight, laughing at Mark's jokes at our weekly poker game, nodding as Sophie rambled about her new art gallery. Inside, I was a storm, but I kept it locked down. This was a husband revenge story in the making, and I wasn't going to tip my hand. Rachel's first report was a gut punch. Photos of Claire and Evan at a Sausalito restaurant, her hand on his knee, his lips brushing her ear. Texts between her and Sophie mocking my workaholic ways, planning alibis. Worst of all, an email from Mark to Claire hinting at a plan to secure our beach house in her name if they could push Nathan out. My friends weren't just covering for her, they were plotting to take my life apart. This wasn't an emotional cheating story. It was a conspiracy, and I was the target. I kept silent, but the hurt was a living thing. I'd trusted these people, built memories with them, ski trips in Aspen, summers in the Hamptons. Now every laugh, every toast felt like a lie. I started securing my assets, quietly transferring funds to protected accounts, consulting my lawyer, Olivia, about divorce and fraud. "They're overplaying their hand," Olivia said, reviewing Rachel's evidence. "We'll bury them." I nodded, but my heart wasn't in it. I didn't want to bury Claire. I wanted the woman I loved back. But that woman was gone. The next blow came at a company gala. Claire was radiant in a $7,000 gown, her arm looped through mine, playing the perfect wife. Mark and Sophie were there, all smiles, but I saw the glances they exchanged with Claire, the coded nods. Evan was there too, across the room, smirking like he'd already won. I excused myself, slipped into the security office, and checked the cameras. There it was, Claire and Evan in a hallway, her back against the wall, his hand on her waist. I saved the footage, my hands steady but my soul shattered. This was a caught cheating on camera moment, and it changed everything. I went back to the gala, smiling through the pain, but I was done playing the fool. I texted Rachel, dig into Mark's business dealings. I want leverage. I called Olivia, prep the divorce papers. Include fraud. I wasn't just living a cheating wife Reddit post. I was rewriting the ending, and Claire and her allies were about to learn who they'd crossed. The San Francisco fog rolled in, cloaking the city as I stood in my office, the gala footage still burning in my mind. Claire's silhouette against Evan, Mark, and Sophie's coded glances, they weren't just betraying me, they were dismantling my life. I wasn't going to let them. This cheating wife story was about to take a turn they'd never see coming. Back at our waterfront mansion, Claire was playing the perfect wife, brewing coffee in her silk robe, her smile as polished as the marble countertops. "You were quiet last night," she said, sliding a mug toward me. I took it, my face neutral, but inside I was replaying the hallway footage, her lips inches from Evan's, her hand on his chest. "Just tired," I lied, sipping the coffee. It tasted bitter, like her promises. She didn't suspect a thing, and that was my advantage. I'd learned from Reddit cheating stories, don't confront until your evidence is ironclad. Rachel, my PI, was worth her weight in gold. Her next report landed 3 days after the gala, a thick folder of photos, texts, and financial records. Claire and Evan had been meeting for months, hotels, late-night drives, even a weekend in Santa Barbara she'd called a work retreat. Sophie had booked their rooms, Mark had lent Evan his car, and both had lied to my face about it. But the real kicker? Mark was funneling money from my company's joint ventures into a shell account Claire controlled, likely to fund her new life with Evan. Sophie, meanwhile, was spreading rumors about my instability to board members, trying to erode my credibility. This wasn't just a wife affair exposed. It was a calculated coup, and my best friends were the generals. I didn't flinch. I called Olivia, my lawyer, and handed over Rachel's folder. "They're committing fraud," I said. "Mark's siphoning funds, Claire's complicit, and Sophie's manipulating my board." Olivia's eyes gleamed. "We've got them on embezzlement, breach of fiduciary duty, and adultery. You want to play hardball?" I nodded. "Lock it down." But quietly. I wasn't ready to tip my hand. This was a husband revenge story, and I was writing it with precision. Claire's lies grew bolder. She'd vanish for client dinners, returning with smudged lipstick and stories that unraveled under scrutiny. I mirrored her phone to a secure server, catching texts to Evan. "Can't wait for this to be over. Nate's clueless." My blood boiled, but I stayed calm. I hacked into Mark's company email, child's play for a tech mogul, and found a thread with Claire about securing the beach house through a divorce loophole. Sophie's emails were worse, mocking me as the ATM while planning to back Claire's alimony claims. This wasn't an emotional cheating story. It was a betrayal so deep it rewrote my reality. I tested Claire one night over dinner at our favorite Michelin star restaurant. The bay sparkled outside, but the air between us was ice. "You seem distracted," I said, swirling my wine. Her fork froze midair. "Just work," she said, too fast. I leaned forward, locking eyes. "Anything I should know?" Her smile faltered, and for a split second, I saw panic. "No, Nate. You worry too much." She reached for my hand, but I pulled back, the memory of her with Evan like a blade. I let it slide, but I was done playing her game. The next twist came from Derek, the only friend who'd warned me. He called, his voice shaky. "Nate, they're escalating. Mark's meeting with a lawyer to challenge your company shares. Sophie's pushing Claire to file first. Claim you're abusive." Abusive? I'd given Claire everything: diamonds, dream homes, freedom. The accusation was a lie, but a smart one, designed to smear me in court. Derek hesitated, then added, "Evan's in deeper than you think." He's got dirt on Claire, photos, videos. He's using her. My jaw tightened. This wasn't just a cheating wife caught moment. It was a web, and I was untangling it thread by thread. I moved fast. I froze Mark's access to our company systems, citing security concerns. He called, furious, but I played dumb. Just a glitch, buddy. I tease on it. Meanwhile, Rachel dug into Sophie's gallery, uncovering emails to art dealers inflating her sales to launder Claire's shell account funds. I sent the evidence to Olivia, who filed a motion to audit Mark's ventures and Sophie's finances. For Claire, I upped the ante. I contacted Evan's boss, a friend from my Stanford days, and dropped a tip. Your marketing guy's been distracted. Check his expense reports. By the next day, Evan was out of a job, his smug grin wiped clean. Claire sensed the walls closing in. She started acting sweet, cooking my favorite meals, planning a romantic weekend in Big Sur. Let's reconnect, she said, her eyes soft, her hand on mine. I almost believed her. But then I saw a text from Sophie on her phone, left carelessly on the counter. Don't back down now. We've got this. The word was a dagger. Claire wasn't just cheating. She was conspiring, and Sophie and Mark were her lieutenants. This was a toxic relationship story, and I was done being the victim. I struck next at a board meeting. Mark was there, oblivious to the trap. I presented a routine audit of our joint ventures, revealing discrepancies tied to his shell account. His face went white as the board demanded answers. We'll investigate, I said, my voice calm but my eyes locked on his. Sophie was next. I tipped off her biggest client about her inflated sales, and by week's end, her gallery was under scrutiny, her reputation crumbling. Claire, meanwhile, was unraveling. She called Evan, her voice shrill through the mirrored phone. You said you'd handle this. His reply was cold. You're on your own. I smiled. This was a revenge cheating wife story, and I was winning. The climax hit when Olivia called. Claire's lawyer wants to talk divorce. She's claiming emotional distress, but we've got her on fraud and adultery. She's got no leverage. I leaned back in my office, the city glittering below. Good. Push for everything, house, assets, alimony. She gets nothing. Olivia paused. You sure? This'll destroy her. I thought of Claire's texts, Sophie's emails, Mark's greed. She destroyed us, I said. Let's finish it. That night, Claire came home late, her eyes red. Nate, we need to talk, she said, her voice trembling. I poured a whiskey, the ice clinking like a countdown. About what? I asked, my tone cold. She opened her mouth, but her phone buzzed. Evan? Probably. Or Sophie. She froze and I smiled. Go ahead. Answer it. She didn't. She just stood there, the architect of her own ruin. This wasn't just a cheating wife story. It was her reckoning, and I was holding the gavel. The San Francisco skyline shimmered through my office window, a cold reminder of the empire I'd built and the life Claire had tried to steal. Her trembling figure stood before me, her plea for a talk hanging in the air like smoke. The buzz of her phone, Evan, Sophie, or Mark, it didn't matter, betrayed her, and I let the silence carve her deeper. This cheating wife story wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about reclaiming what was mine. Claire's voice broke the quiet, a fragile thread. Nate, I didn't mean for this to happen. Her eyes were wide, searching for a lifeline, but I wasn't throwing one. Didn't mean for what? I asked, leaning back with my whiskey, the ice glinting like her lies. The affair? The fraud? Or the fact that you and our friends tried to ruin me? Her breath caught, her face paling as she realized the depth of my knowledge. It's not like that, she stammered. But the words were hollow, a reflex from a woman who'd orchestrated a conspiracy. I set my glass down, the clink sharp. Save it, Claire. I've got everything, texts, emails, footage. You're done. Her knees buckled, and she sank onto the couch, tears streaming. For a moment, I saw the woman I'd loved for 20 years, but the image flickered, replaced by her silhouette with Evan, her mocking texts with Sophie, Mark's greedy plans. This wasn't a wife-cheating confession. It was a funeral for trust. I didn't stay to watch her cry. I walked out, the mansion's silence swallowing her sobs. The next morning, Olivia called with an update. Claire's lawyer is panicking, she said, her voice clipped. They know we've got them on fraud and adultery. She's trying to spin a sob story. Claims you pushed her away. Want to counter. I stared at the bay, its waves churning like my thoughts. Let her try, I said. We've got the evidence. File for divorce, full asset protection, no alimony. Olivia paused. This'll crush her, Nate. I thought of Claire's hand on Evan's, Sophie's emails calling me, the ATM, Mark's shell account. She crushed us first, I said. Do it. Claire's desperation grew. She left voicemails, her voice raw. Nate, please let's talk. I'll end it with Evan. I'll fix this. I didn't call back. I'd mirrored her phone, catching her texts to Sophie. He knows too much. What do we do? Sophie's reply was brutal. Cut your losses. He's untouchable. Mark was silent, likely scrambling to save his own skin after the board's audit. Evan, jobless and exposed, had ghosted her, his leverage, those photos and videos, useless now that I had my own arsenal. This wasn't just a cheating wife-caught moment. It was a collapse, and Claire was at the epicenter. The internet caught wind of the drama. A tech blog posted a vague story about infidelity and fraud in Silicon Valley, hinting at a power couple's implosion. Reddit threads exploded, with users piecing together Claire's affair and Mark's shady deals. Sounds like a classic cheating wife story. One post read, racking up thousands of upvotes. Hope the husband burns them all. I didn't read the comments, but Derek sent screenshots, his texts apologetic. I should have told you sooner, Nate. You didn't deserve this. I didn't reply. Derek's warning had saved me, but his delay stung. Trust was a currency I couldn't afford anymore. I struck next with surgical precision. Mark's joint ventures were officially under investigation, and I leaked his shell account details to the SEC through a discreet contact. By week's end, he was suspended from his own board, his reputation in tatters. Sophie's gallery faced a tax audit, her clients pulling out as whispers of money laundering spread. I didn't touch Claire directly, not yet. I wanted her to feel the walls closing in, to see her allies fall before her own reckoning. Rachel's latest report confirmed it. Claire was spiraling, calling Evan obsessively, begging Sophie for help, even reaching out to Mark, who ignored her. This was a revenge-cheating wife story, and I was playing chess while they fumbled checkers. Claire tried one last performance. She showed up at my office, her designer coat pristine but her eyes hollow. Nate, I'm sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I was lost. Evan, he was a mistake. Let's rebuild. She stepped closer, her perfume, the one I hadn't bought, choking me with memories. I thought of our Napa weekends, her laugh under the stars, the life we'd dreamed. But then I saw the gala footage, her hand on Evan's waist, Sophie's email calling me a fool. Rebuild, I said, my voice cold. You burned her life down, Claire, and you brought Mark and Sophie to light the match. Her face crumpled, but I didn't soften. Sign the divorce papers. Walk away. She sobbed, clutching her purse, but I turned to the window, the city's pulse steadying me. She left, the door clicking shut like a coffin. The fallout was swift. Olivia filed the divorce, attaching Rachel's evidence, texts, emails, footage, financial records. Claire's lawyer tried to claim emotional abandonment, but the judge wasn't buying it. The shell account tied to Claire's name sealed her fate: fraud, adultery, conspiracy. She lost her claim to the mansion, the beach house, even her jewelry collection. The settlement gave her a small apartment's worth of cash, pennies compared to our empire. Mark's company collapsed under SEC scrutiny, his assets frozen. Sophie's gallery closed, her socialite status erased. Evan, humiliated and broke, left town after a public fight with Claire, rumors swirling of a heated argument gone wrong. I didn't care to verify. They were ghosts now, fading into their own ruins. Claire's final act was a pathetic attempt at redemption. She posted a tearful Instagram video claiming she was manipulated by Evan, begging for forgiveness. The internet tore her apart. Another cheating wife story with no accountability, one comment read, liked thousands of times. Her followers plummeted, her charity boards dropped her, and her old friends, those who hadn't betrayed me, turned away. She was alone, a cautionary tale trending under #cheatingwife. I didn't watch the video. I didn't need to. This wasn't a wife betrayal confession anymore. It was a mirror, and Claire couldn't face her reflection. I could have stopped there, my empire secure, my enemies crushed. But victory felt like ash. I'd won, but at what cost? 20 years of love, trust, friendship gone. I walked through the mansion, its vaulted ceilings echoing with memories of Claire's laugh, Mark's toasts, Sophie's stories. They weren't real, but the pain was. I needed more than revenge. I needed a reason to keep going. That reason came in the form of 2 German shepherds, Titan and Luna. I'd always wanted dogs, but Claire had vetoed it, calling them messy. Now free of her, I adopted them from a rescue, their loyal eyes and wagging tails filling the mansion with life. Titan, a massive black antan beast, slept at my feet. Luna, sleek and silver, followed me everywhere. They didn't care about my wealth or my wounds. They just loved me, and that was enough to start healing. This wasn't a toxic relationship story anymore. It was a rebirth, and I was writing it one day at a time. One morning, I took Titan and Luna to the Embarcadero, the bay sparkling under a rare clear sky. They bounded ahead, chasing seagulls, their joy infectious. At the pier, they stopped, tails wagging, beside a woman with warm brown eyes and a gentle smile. Her golden retriever, Max, sniffed Luna, sparking a playful chase. "Sorry about that," she said, laughing. Max gets excited. I smiled, something I hadn't done in months. "No worries. I'm Nathan." She extended a hand. "Grace." We talked about dogs, the bay, life. No pretense, no agenda. Just 2 people, scarred but open, sharing a moment. I asked her for coffee. She said yes. The story didn't end with revenge or ruin. It ended with me, Grace, Titan, Luna, and Max at the pier, the sunset painting the water gold. I looked at them, my heart full for the first time in years. Was it worth it, tearing down Claire and her allies? Or did I lose something in the fire I'd set? I'd rebuilt my life, found peace, maybe even love. But the cost lingered, a shadow I'd carry forever. If this story moved you, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora for more raw, real tales of love and betrayal. Did I go too far, or did Claire and her friends reap what they sowed? Tell me below, and let's keep the conversation alive.